then you therefore create the space to bring back those actual natural essence pieces of yourself back.
Mhm.
And yeah, anyway, I could go on about
No,
it
I love
forever,
that.
but
I love that. I'm feeling a nudge right now is and my guides are like, let's talk about this some more. They actually want to jump in and I'm asking who's here. And this is so fun. Crystal, this is all new to Crystal. So we're just jumping in here and I'm gonna reach in to see who's wanting to talk right now. It's the guides in the garden. They're wanting to speak about this. So we're just gonna see what they say really quick, okay?
okay, cool.
And I may close my eyes just because that makes it easier and I'm not distracted. But
Okay.
yes, we are here, Gwen. We are here with you and this crystal. Both of you are doing a lovely job speaking of this idea of attachment and also speaking of this, what is called soul loss. Many of you may have come onto this earth even feeling like a part of you was missing. And of course, a part of this is a witness of your soul that you are much greater than you are or what you experience yourself to be upon this earth. But also, we would say that through the many experiences that you have had, you, once again, have lost certain aspects of yourself, for they were not allowed to be expressed for your survival. This is a basic way you may look at this thought or this idea of soul retrieval. You being able to access certain aspects of yourself that are waiting to simply be of benefit to you, simply for you to own their voice. You, Gwen, have had experience with what is called the big mind process, where you go through and you speak to different aspects of yourself, including the different dimensional aspects, the non dual framework and mindset. Yes, we say mindset because it basically is a field of expression that you may enter into and become aware of yourself within. And so there are many ways that one may experience this kind of soul retrieval experience. But as we speak, Crystal does know certain techniques which she has become skilled with. And we would love for you two to talk about some of these techniques and how they have blessed her and the blessings she has seen in her patients and her clients that have worked with her. And so this we simply are saying to encourage you to continue speaking about this topic. This we say and we leave this with you and we'll come back and we'll speak more again. Okay, so there we go.
Cool. That was really cool.
So yeah, they would like to us to talk more about how you go through that process. And this may be really beneficial for someone who is wondering what this looks like and feels like, and it may, have them trust and open up to having some kind of experience like this.
Well, I told you I could talk about this all day, so I guess we're supposed to. Um, so yeah, I'm fascinated with this work. In fact, I feel like this piece in particular is a huge part of my soul purpose in this life. I could talk about it all day, so we will.
Here we go. Let's do it.
I have to like condense it because my mind starts going crazy. So yeah, so I agree kind of like what you're just saying, that there are different ways to do soul retrieval. I specifically have learned a way through the shamanic practitioner training, which is one of my favorite ways because I feel like it's very quick and efficient. And its purpose, like I mean, not purposely, specifically helped me several times, which is actually how I got on the shamanic practitioner path. Was several years ago. I've had a lot of trauma, significant trauma in my life. A lot of domestic violence when I was younger, some really bad abuse. But I had done a lot of healing on that. It had taken me a long time. But then I was date raped twice. Once I think 6 years ago, and another year after that, 5 years ago. And so finally, when these things had happened to me, I had done enough work on myself for the better part of a decade. And so I could recognize really strongly in myself that at that time something was wrong with me, and I just was like, I'm not myself, something's wrong. And I had quite a few tools at this time to work with, and nothing was working. And I was pretty in tune with myself, and I was like, something's wrong with me, I'm not myself. And so I reached out to a friend, and she sent me to a lady who was a womb shaman. And I had a little bit of experiences with shamans a couple times before, but anyway, I went to this lady and I had one session with her, and I swear I was just she did some extraction and soul retrieval work on me in one session, and I swear I was like back to myself. I had this energy back to me, the vibrance. I was like, I feel like myself again. I could not describe it. And I thought, how on earth did stuff that took me years and years of therapy and other work that I had done in the past happen like this? And I was just shocked. And then it just sent me down the path. She actually told me, she's like, you're a shaman and you're supposed to do this work too. And I was like, what? I know. I'm like, I didn't know that. I don't know what that means. And so, it just kind of started me on the shamanic path, which I think actually had started before, but consciously started me on that path. But so I guess before I get into that, though, there are different types of soul retrievals you can do as well. For example, I think sometimes, just like for me, as another example, when I was a teenager, before I had met my ex-husband, before the serious abuse had started in my life, I think back to these couple years in my late teens where I was just thriving on all levels, relationships, health, and school, with work. Like, my finances were good. Like, I was really advanced for my age at that time, but my friends, everything, I was just really happy, fulfilled in life. I was reaching for my goals. I was just as good as I could have been. And so I think one way of doing a soul retrieval is you look back to pieces like that before, these soul pieces have left because of trauma. And you can even just start doing activities that you used to do back then. For example, what types of hobbies was I into? What was my structure in my day like? How did I feed myself and work out back then? I think a lot of people, you can do this too with even childhood stuff. Like, what did I love to do as a child? I love to dance. I love to create and make art. And that was a piece that as I was an adult, I thought, oh, I can't do that anymore. I have to work and have fun. I mean, not have fun. I can't have fun. I have to work and no fun and be serious and responsible. And especially as a solo parent. And that's a way you can reclaim pieces of yourself too. It's like, what did I enjoy as a child? I love to bake and cook and do crafts with my mom, And so that's one way I feel you can bring soul pieces back, is just by literally starting to do the things you did at younger stages of your life. And that's how you can bring some of those things back, is by literally inviting them in through behaviors. So that's a big thing that I've done a lot. But the really cool favorite shamanic soul retrieval work, that's something you can't really do for yourself. You kind of have to do it with a practitioner. But essentially they journey and they go and find the lost pieces of your soul. And they bring them back into the body, integrate it into the body. And there's some integration work after and stuff like that. But that's my favorite part, but just because it just is so magical, and it seems a little crazy and out there, but unless you actually experience it for yourself, I mean, it sounds nuts, really. But no, it's hard to describe, but it's very real.
Yeah. I mean, I love what you're expressing, and this kind of idea of journey is something that I do all the time. It's just like, it's just really, maybe it's first nature.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if we can sit here, my guides are chuckling at me. They're saying, yes, Gwen. And they're like, okay, so I'm just wanting to sit here and imagine. We're going to sit here and imagine, because imagination, when we're opening our imagination, this is a way that we can enter into what is experienced as a journey. And if we just simply imagine ourselves sitting and taking 3 deep breaths and being in a beautiful garden, and there's some luscious luscious trees and flowers and everything around us, then as we enter into this garden, we can take a look about us and see what it feels like. Is it a bright summer day? Is it dark? Is it misty? And whatever is here is declaring or expressing something to us. Whatever the foliage is, what do the trees look like? What is calling to you? What are you interested in or drawn to? So, this is a natural way that we enter into vision and we start getting drawn to certain aspects that are ready to be brought back to ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we enter in that way, and you're very skilled. You know specifically things that you'll be looking for, or you'll ask people to look for something, probably.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is how you can. This is a way to kind of demystify what's happening here,
Mm-hmm.
because our
Yeah.
soul itself wants to come back into itself. In a way, even though we're doing a soul retrieval, we cannot lose ourselves. You know, that
Mm-hmm.
there's always this wholeness. There's always something in us that will recognize a part of ourselves. You know?
Yeah, and I think like kind of what were saying too, it made me think, the important part of a soul piece can't come back until you're ready for it. For example, like if I try to do soul retrieval and bring back pieces